How you think we bridge the gap?
Dialogue. Pretty much.
Oh.
It's too much us versus them type of unorganized chaos. I grew up around here. Yeah, grew up with the same people. So I'm local. Just right now.
You know what it is? It's also that 90% of minorities get police brutality or get harassed by 90% of our own. I think it's beyond racism. You know? And I think that more cops should just speak up. I know there's a code. It's like a family code. If my brother did something, even though I know he did wrong, it can't be out there like that. I love it. How you think we could bridge the gap? Civilian police. You don't answer? Come in peace, my brother. Ain't you my brother? How can we bridge the gap with civilian and police so we can respect each other in our own neighborhood? You working with us or without us? You're not even talking to me, my brother. We're in two different teams, or we're here together. Who wants to have a dialogue with me? I come in peace. Peaceful protests. They don't come peacefully. Look at them with their stick. Ready. That's why we can't do it peacefully. That's why we can't do it peacefully.
Y'all already know, man, this is Punch Unboxing, aka Mr. Moonshine himself. Y'all saw a couple of clips that I just posted from me attending the New York City protest for police brutality, racial injustice, systemic racism, and things of that nature. Y'all already know, man. First and foremost, my heart goes out to the people that lost their life, and for the family, my condolences go out to all the family that have lost a loved one due to police brutality. George Floyd, big ups to the family. Now, if you follow the channel, you already know how I feel. For those that are new, I believe in one race. I believe in the human race. I don't like the separatism movement, but that's just my own personal feeling, but I understand it. I'm going to tell y'all how I experienced this type of protest. And I'm not all happy about it. I'm not all happy how it went down. I'm not all happy how it was organized. I'm not all happy about the negative drowning the positive voice out there in the protest. Y'all saw in a couple of videos I was having a dialogue with a couple of officers. Most of the officers don't want to be recorded while I wanted to have a dialogue with them. But like I told them, this wasn't photo op or things of that nature. I put my phone down. We don't got to record it. I just want to have a dialogue with y'all. And I have way more. I had a lot of dialogue with a lot of officers while I was walking, when I was protesting and things of that nature. Some, how I say, 30 to 40% of it was actually ended because there was other protesters that got into the conversation and started hollering, was cussing at the officer while I was trying to have a positive dialogue. And I was having a good dialogue with half of the officers out there, but during those type of dialogue, I was interrupted by a lot of the protesters that just came out of nowhere, was cursing, all the derogatory names that you could think of. And I tried the peacefulness, even though that I said in my past videos, in my past posts, if y'all follow me in other social media platform, that I believe that protesting is probably a waste of time. Peaceful protesting is a waste of time. But looting itself is also dumb to me. Idiotic, stupidity to me. You understand what I'm saying? But I can understand the anger. I can understand the emotions that's running. But I understand the emotions at the end. At the same time, I understand the narrative that they push to get people emotional. During the protests, I thought it would be more organized. I thought it would be more than what it was. We were just going around from Union Square, that's 14th Street, New York City, and then we're going all the way to Astor Place, and then we turn around and we go to a park, and we're still protesting and things of that nature. Then we come back around to Union Square, and it was like I wasn't feeling the chance. Because I'm going to tell you like this, I understand a lot of people was mad at police brutality. Of course, I am mad as well. I have experienced police brutality. I didn't experience racism police brutality at the same time. Because I believe, like I said in one of my videos on one of my live shows, that that this is bigger than racism. It has gone through epic proportion. Racism to me in this sense of police brutality, if you look at the numbers, it's out there, it's public records. And I said it in one of my live shows, and I was explaining to these officers, this was my personal beef with the police. My personal beef with the police is first and foremost, I'm from New York City. Washington Heights, Harlem. There was a time when there was a lot of police officers that wasn't black, that wasn't Latino, that wasn't brown. You understand what I'm saying? It wasn't a black and browns. It was a lot of police officers that couldn't understand that type of the environment, the culture, and things of that nature. And we needed we needed new officers. We wanted probably our kind in the inner city where I was raised, which it was black and Latinos. So probably these officers will actually understand this culture. We need the black and brown officers to police our community and protect our community. But learning in my experience and looking at the statistics numbers, whether people like it or not, whether people want to bring it or not, because of course there's a lot of emotions, there's a lot of racial tension because of the history of this nation. But the statistics says that black and Latino person police brutality will happen from a black or Latino officer. And that's what I was trying to explain to the officers in the dialogue. The question was, how can police and civilian bridge the gap? There is no trust at all. There's no trust. We have lost their trust. We never felt like they actually respected us. And I could tell by the way we greet one another. We don't even greet one another. That's another thing for police officers. Whether it's white, whether it's black, whether Latinos. I could walk into a grocery store, I could walk into a diner, I could walk into a gas station and things of that nature. The police officer will be right there. They don't say nothing. You look at them and they look at you. But there's no hi, how you doing? How's your God bless. Stay safe. Nothing. There is no, it's almost when you're looking at an enemy, like a civil enemy. You understand what I'm trying to say? That's the kind of tension there is. I never had a police officer in the inner cities to actually greet me. Hey, how you doing? Especially the police officers that they police your neighborhood. So that means they should know you by now. You understand what I'm trying to say? You should have a relationship. I was trying to explain that in the dialogue. You should be in your car. It says, let's say, if, for example, I'm from the streets or you've been policing my neighborhood for 5 to 10 years. If you work, you'll know the people. You know if you work in a supermarket, right, and you bag or you're the register person and you work there for 5 years and around that neighborhood, the same people shop in that same supermarket, you're going to know who's Maria, you're going to know who's Anna, you're going to know who's Bob, you're going to know these people because you worked there for 5 years and that's where they shop. The same thing for police officers. You know who's the people in that particular community, especially those inner cities and that type of unit, whether you were precinct from, example, the 44 precinct to the 33 precinct. Is only like, what's the radius of that? Is in New York City, that's probably from 184th Street to 70th Street. That's only like, 16 blocks, right? And we just don't. I don't know the police. The police don't know me. It's not a high. We should know one another. We should be like, yo, what's up? What's up, officer? Hey, yo, what's good? What's good? What's good, Punch? What's good? What's good, Lewinsky? What's good, Officer Jenkins or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? We don't have that in our community. So I was trying to have that dialogue. And why is it our own? I can understand. I was trying to tell them that, you see this white officer, I was talking to like 11 officers, 11, 13, whatever officers. They was actually surrounding me, and I was having a dialogue with them. I couldn't have it on videotape because they said, a couple of officers said they wouldn't talk to me if I'm videotaping them. So like I said in the beginning, I'm like, yo, all right, I don't need a videotape. I want to have a dialogue. This ain't no photo op. I was explaining to myself that I'm not afraid of this guy. I won't be afraid of this guy, this white man, because in my community, it's really black and Latinos, right? And statistics says that if I'm going to be harassed and I'm going to be shot or killed by an officer, 90% plus will be from a black and Latino cop. So for me, it's bigger than racism. This is full-blown police brutality. And if you go to the white community, it'll be 83%. And you could check it out. You could check out the statistics. You could check out the data. You could go to FBI.org. There's a lot of website where you can check the data. So this ain't lying. I experienced harassed. I experienced that in my life, but it was by a black and Latino cop, right? So within our community, there is a problem within our own people. As a civilian, there's also a problem with law enforcement. That is our own people. So if you hear me, and I was having a live show, and of course, there's a couple of people that's going to be, that might not understand this, too emotional, understand that, they drill. We have a trauma in our life. We have a trauma. I understand that. We do have a trauma. Sometimes we don't seek help. Probably we're so used to the police brutality, and sometimes we're used to the harassment that by now we live it like it was normal. If you really think about it, it's like when you got spanked when you was a child, and you thought that spank is bad. If you go to another coach, they'd be like, yo, you got spanked. I say, yeah, it's you grow up. Yeah, my daddy used to spank me, or my mom used to spank me. Wow, that's child abuse. But for us, it was just normal. A lot of things in the hood is normal, that we come with a conclusion that it's normal, but it's actually not. So we do have trauma that we actually need some help for it. But during the protests, man, I was getting interrupted by other people, and I was having a great dialogue. Somebody come with the camera and be like, suck my dick, you pussy, you fat, F the police, F NYPD, F, and yes, it's peaceful protest, but you got to give them some type of demonstration and probably an image so they can understand what you're trying to say. Most of the police officers told me one thing that I was, wow. You know what? There's nothing left to talk about. When I was talking to these groups of officers and I asked them how we could bridge the gap, they said, well, we don't know. 90% of the cops that I asked said, well, I don't know. If you don't know by now, and this got to all the police force, if you don't know by now, you can't answer that question. By now, how could we bridge the gap, the relationship, especially in the inner city with police officers and civilians? How can we bridge the gap so we can have some type of respect and things of that nature and work together as a community? As you supposed to be protecting me, how can we bridge the gap and give you that trust? I don't know. If you don't know by now, that means there is nothing to talk about. I told the police officer that. Then there's nothing to talk about, really. And then he goes, so what do you think about this protest? You think this healthy? You think the looting is healthy? You think this protest really is not going to do anything? More than one police officer told me that. I couldn't get it in the camera. Like I said, they wouldn't talk if the camera's on. So I'm explaining to you the real. These officers told me first that they don't know. Then some of these officers also told me that they believe that this protest is a waste of time. If the protest is a waste of time and you don't know how can we bridge the gap, then there is nothing to talk about anymore, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing to talk about. And it's sad to say that I gave it a chance, ladies and gentlemen. I gave it a chance to have a peaceful protest, but it seems to me that being peaceful and talking has run its course. Has run its course, and it's sad. So when I post something like, war breeds peace, maybe it does. And it's sad to say, and I don't know how we gonna do it, but a revolution needs to be done. A revolution needs to be done. We gotta come together. The looting ain't right, but the peaceful stuff ain't right either. And the talking, it seems, as my experience, I've asked the right questions so I could get the right answers. And that's what I wanted to do today, is ask the right questions so I could get the right answers. And guess what? It was like Kanye West and Sway. You ain't got the answers, Sway. You ain't got the answers. That was the type of feeling that I got. You ain't got the answer. I told them, you ain't got the answer, man. You ain't got the answer, cop. You ain't got the answer. If you don't got the answer, and a lot of people don't know, and I know, yes, there is good police officers, but at the end of the day, I understand y'all team, and I understand you got to look for one another, because I told the cops straight up, look, if my best friend do something negative, at the end of the day, I won't justify it inside the world. I will have that type of conversation on the low, like, my man, yo, you doing something bad. I understand the family. I understand the G code. I understand whatever blue code y'all got. I understand it. I'm a street dude. I understand it. But I come with a conclusion after this protest. The conclusion is that there's nothing to talk about no more. I asked the right question. They clarified that. They told me that the protest, if those guys in New York City, and I asked more than probably 20 cops today, separate and in a group, they feel like the protest is a waste of time. If they feel like the protest is a waste of time in New York City, they feel like they feel it in Chicago, they feel it in LA, they feel it in Minneapolis, they feel it in Texas. This is the way they feel collectively. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter if all white people get down on their knees and say sorry and we forgive them. At the end of the day, the statistic says this. Yes, there is racial tension, and there will always be racial tension. But yet the statistic says this, that Punch Drunk, Mr. Moonshine will get shot and killed. If by a police officer, it will be by my own kind, 90%. And that's why I believe that we first need to take care of our own community and our own negativity that goes on in our community. There is a lot of positive that's going on in our culture, but there is a lot of negative. There's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of insecurities. There's a lot of systemic, yes, problem. But at the end of the day, like I said in my videos, we got to learn how to roll with the punches. This life is a 12-round bout, and we need to adjust, and we need to make some timely adjustments as well. And if they knock us down, we got to get up. We got to keep it moving forward, because at the end of the day, things ain't going change just like that. There is going to be a system, whether you like it or not. You just got to navigate through the system, find those big crack, and go through it, because there is a bunch of cracks. There is. By doing so, yes, in the midst of it, we still have to be fighting. But maybe it's going to take a revolution. And what it is, loot ain't the answer, but something deeper than that. So we need to come together collectively. I believe we need to stop the protests. I need to come together. Talk. We don't need the officers. We need to talk amongst ourselves and plan out something pronto, immediately, with great minds, with great leaders. Not everybody could be a soldier, but you know what? There's a lot of platforms in which you could be a soldier, and those type of different platforms. You don't got to be a physical soldier, but you could be it. You could be it in your writing. You could be it in your images. You could be it. Just have your stop blaming presidents, governments. At the end of the day, we can't give presidents and government or police officers or even our own people fully our trust. A president's going to be out in 4 years or probably this year. But you know what? It happened other years. It happened before Obama. It happened before Reagan. It happened before Nixon. You got to remember, we could blame any president we want. This man is going to be out and the thing's going to happen again. We had Garner, right? We had the Fergusons of the world, right? We had another president in place. Now we got this. We got another president in place. And it's going to happen again on the next president. But this is the end. We do not want to continue hearing about the 400 years. That needs to stop. Let's stop it here in the 400 years. And let's not make it happen for the next 400 years. It's time for a revolution. This is Punch Drunk Boxing. Let me know what y'all think. Leave a comment on the bottom if you have any ideas, any solution. Share it with the people. We got to come together as people. And I'm sorry for the people that this is a boxing channel and I got to come up with this type of content on a boxing channel. I don't really want to come up with it, but it needs to be said, I feel. Now, I apologize if I've been insensitive to people because of what my interpretation of what my experience was. You have another experience and I respect that and things of that nature. But let's look at the statistics. Let's not have 0.000 whatever 6, overshadow what happens every single day in our community. Like I said, my condolences also go out to all the people that has passed away in gun violence and gang violence and drug violence within our own community. Straight bullets up the wazoo. People are dying each and every day. It's not only hashtag George Floyd. It's hashtag everybody. Humans, all colors, all races. But at the end of the day, let's just think about humans now. We all one race. We all have the same blood. Yo, I could keep going on and on. I don't know. I don't got all the good answers. I'm just giving you my perspective. I love y'all. God bless. And on to the next.